This is Chuck Schaefer of HCM TV, and I am joined by Joe Essenfeld, CEO of Jibe. Joe, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Joe, you are the publisher of a recruiting application that takes a lot of advantage of cloud and mobile technologies. But how do you describe your application, and how does it deliver differentiation in a competitive marketplace?
Well, our product really provides a layer of candidate experience for large enterprise companies. So what we can power is a mobile job application. We power employee referrals and job distribution, all while plugging into your existing systems. So a key differentiator for us is how we integrate with your existing applicant tracking systems, CRMs, and other back-end systems, so you don't have to change your behavior or your existing software to actually provide a superior candidate experience.
And with that lack of integration in this customer experience that you're talking about, how does that translate into benefits for organizations that use your product?
The benefits are multi-tiered. One of the biggest problems that we solve quickly for clients is the ability to take applications on every device. So when a job seeker approaches their career site on a tablet or mobile phone, we can now take the full job application process, and the conversion rates we're seeing are surprisingly high. Job seekers seem to be intent on finishing these applications, and as we optimize and do user testing, we're continuing to enhance that. The other piece, which is another direct benefit, is that we're able to unify multiple applicant tracking systems. So there are companies that have 3 or 4 ATSs, a candidate has a completely disjointed experience. We can actually unify those on the back and front end using our job distribution technology as well as job application technology. So we're unifying that on mobile and desktop in that case, as well as the job distribution engine.
You know, those are some good benefits. Let me see if I can bubble this up to just a bit more of a strategy level.
Sure.
We know from countless studies that when properly harnessed, recruiting can become a competitive advantage in the war on talent. How is your application adding to that or contributing to that competitive advantage?
So we think there are 2 main reasons. One is that you'll get a better ROI on your media dollars, so that gives you more flexibility to spend as you'd like. And second, we'll see more passive candidates actually complete the application process or at least drop the business card because the interface and experience is better. So we're seeing less desperate job seekers self-selecting who are willing to go through a 45-minute process, and people who show some casual interest are able to convert into either a lead or an application more efficiently.
And what's the target market for your application, or what's the profile of the organization that's going to get the maximum payback?
For us, we love working with companies who have been successful betting on technology in the past. So they have that vision to see how they can get a competitive advantage immediately using our product. And mobile is somewhat of still a Wild West frontier, where there isn't a lot of job applications being done. Our first client to go live was Walmart, so we wanted to make sure we could prove our product at scale, and we're seeing significant traffic coming in from mobile devices as well as conversion for them. So we're very excited, and that's in the very early stages.
You know, as you mentioned, mobile and the talent acquisition process is still in early days, but it's getting adopted rapidly. Where do you think we are in terms of crossing the chasm to the point where job seekers are routinely using mobile technologies to apply to organizations?
Well, I think we would already be there if the infrastructure was in place. What we're seeing is over a third of traffic to Fortune 1000 is coming on a mobile device, including tablets, and with the intent to apply, making up a significant amount of that traffic as well. So if they could actually apply, I think we'd already be there.
Let me ask for your perspective. What advice would you give to the HR or business leader that's going to create or append their talent acquisition strategy to include mobile?
My advice for senior recruiting leaders about mobile would be to be very specific with what they want to accomplish from it. One mistake that we've seen with social is approaching it as one large bucket to throw things against, whether it be budget or ideas. And with mobile, you have to be much more strategic. Do you want to convert more applications? Do you want to reach a certain vertical of job seekers? And how do you approach that with mobile successfully? And how do you do it on all devices? One thing that we really recommend is to steer clear of making native apps. Mobile web is capturing the majority of traffic already, and it's a big ask to have a job seeker load up their phone with apps from specific companies. Someone like an Indeed, that makes 100% sense, but as an individual company, we really try and steer away from that.
So from your perspective as a technology publisher of these recruiting applications, do you take sort of a lowest common denominator approach on the technology, say HTML5 versus operating specific applications?
Right, well, I think HTML5 is somewhat of a misused statement, because if you're going to be globally compatible with smartphones, you have to combine lots of different technologies. It's a lot more about responsive CSS than necessarily one fix-all of HTML5. But yes, we take the approach, we want this to work on as many devices and be as easy to access as possible. So we'll sacrifice features like accessing the person's phone, but with mobile web you still have their location. And with location, one feature that's not as focused on as just job search is actual languages. So if I'm accessing this from another country, we can automatically load up the appropriate language as well as other dialects that would be relevant.
And once that recruiting strategy is in play, what advice would you offer the HR or business leader that's now about to deploy a mobile recruiting solution?
I would say look at mobile and desktop simultaneously. Mobile is very candidate experience focused because you have small real estate on your screen. So if you're going to do the exercise of focusing on your candidate experience and application for mobile, might as well do it for desktop at the same time.
Very good. And with that advice, I think we're at a good break point to conclude our conversation. This is Chuck Schaefer. I've been joined by Joe Essenfeld, CEO of Jive. Joe, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it.